everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Shane Plays Modsauce. Been playing Minecraft for a good long while, and kind of put it to the side when they broke 1.6, and was really excited when I found out that they fixed Forge and a lot of these mods and brought it back. So. I'm back to start playing, and what I'm gonna do is we're gonna start a Let's Play series here shortly. Once I get my video processing together, you're getting the raw material here. I know it's a little rough and the video quality might be a little off, but the intention with this video today is to focus on a very specific piece of Modsauce. It's called Applied Energistics 2, and it is an auto crafting and storage mod that is really powerful if you can get it to working. And I say if because there are certain pieces of it that are really, if you don't mind doing things by hand, it's probably going to be okay to figure out. If you want to automate things, which at some point you will, believe me, you will, it becomes more challenging. And so what I'm here today to do is I'm going to go over the Inscriber automation. Now, I struggled with this for like a week, and finally figured it out. I had a little bit of fine-tuning help from a friend of mine, Ulfric999, who doesn't like to make videos because I guess he just thinks he sounds dumb. I don't think so, but you know. Anyway, shout out to Ulfric. Thanks for the little extra help here. I got most of this figured out on my own, but I was having issues getting stuff to go back into the ME, and he helped me kind of figure that piece out. So what we've got here is I'm not going to go into every single specific detail. If you're coming here for automation, you probably already know how this stuff works. For those of you that don't and would like a little bit more detail, I'm going to link to some videos in the description. Illusion 98765 is with Craft Council, and he's got his own series, but he came up with some stuff over the weekend as I was trying to put this video together. So he's got some different ideas, and some of them are sort of working and some of them are completely working, but he would be one to watch. We've also got a couple of guys over in the Hermitcraft Modsauce server, the Jassassin and King Daddy DMAC. They have their own automation. King Daddy DMAC is almost entirely just inscribers and extra utilities, transfer nodes, and Java barrels. And it'll probably take me a minute to figure out which one of the hundreds and gajillions of videos of his it is, but I'll link to that. And I'll link to Jassassin with a warning. The video that I'll link to, it's about 42 minutes in before you get to it. So if you want to skip a lot of stuff and go straight to the meat, that's about where it starts. But it's actually interesting to watch him play. He's figured stuff out on his own, and it's an interesting process. But the method that he ultimately comes up with uses Steve's factorization, or Steve's factory. I forget what the mod's called exactly. It's let's see here. So I'll just look it for you. Steve's Factory Manager. There aren't a lot of pieces to this, but the pieces that there are extremely complicated. He actually does a fast forward that lasts probably 45 minutes or an hour worth of material that he zooms through. And it all looks very complicated, and I'm not prepared to spend quite that much brain power. I had a hard enough time with this here. So I will link to those videos, and you can check them out. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get started with this. So I've got 4 inscribers stacked up in a column, and there's one for each of the base printed circuits. You have silicon circuits, logic circuits, calculation circuits, and engineering circuits, and actually it's printed circuits, I should say. So the down the back, I have Fluke's cable, and that's just to power the inscribers. I've seen other videos where people have gotten power to go through like these ME interfaces, and it doesn't work for me, so I do it this way. If somebody knows how that's working, maybe that's like a server config or something, you can let me know in the comments, or link me to another video or whatever you like. But these interfaces hold a pattern for each of the printed circuits. So I'll just real quick, to make a pattern for an interface, you go over to your interface, your pattern terminal, and you need to set this over here. You've got a crafting table little icon looking thing. It's set for your crafting pattern. That's just for doing internal crafting. It doesn't require machines or anything. But when you want to push out to something, you have to make a processing pattern instead. And so what you would do is you would take your silicon, and you would make, and that makes a silicon chip, and then you would encode the pattern, and that would be put into the interface. That's how that works. So you can see over here, if you hold shift, it'll show you what it looks like in your inventory, what it's actually the final product is, and that's what this is here. This is the same thing. And you do that for silicon and logic and calculation and engineering, and those will feed into the inscribers, and it will go to the right place. And when the inscribers finish stamping the circuit, it will push it out to these transfer nodes, and these are just item transfer nodes from extra utilities. There's nothing special about them. There's no filters or anything like that. You don't need speed upgrades or anything like that, because these are pretty slow, and I don't like that there's no way to speed them up. You know, some of the other interfaces and machines, you can add acceleration cards and things like that, but you can't with this. So anyway, the item transfer nodes will feed into this chest, and the back of the chest has an import bus. Now, on the import bus, I went ahead and put in a capacity card and told it which items to put in there. Now, it's got an extra slot, and I put, you know, you can put whatever you want to in there that's not got anything to do with printed circuits or anything like that. I put biomessence in there because it's, you know, it seems harmless enough, and I actually can't figure out what to do with that. Supposedly you can terraform with Biomes of Plenty and using that biomessence, but I can't find anything on it. So if somebody knows something about that, I would love to be able to terraform. Please tell me in the comments. The Modsauce server that we're on is not configured to populate with a lot of the biomes, so we're stuck with, you know, like savanna and extreme hills, and once in a great while we'll find a swampland or a cemetery or something like that. Actually, I don't think cemetery's a biome, but so anyway, yeah, if somebody knows something about Biomes of Plenty and terraforming, then please share that with me and anybody else who comes to the channel. We'd really appreciate it. So the reason I put that in there was because I was having an issue where this would pull in redstone and would not, it would hang up the craft. So that prevented that from happening. And I'm sure that I could use like a piece of quartz cable to isolate the other half of that to the network. Let's go to daytime. And so that's how that works. That's the first half of the crafting system, is it feeds into the import buses, into the inscribers, it stamps them and pushes them out these item transfer nodes into the chest. And the import bus is here because it needs to pull these printed circuits back into the system so that it will recognize that those have been created. If you do just a pass-through, it will not recognize that your circuits have been finished. It actually has to touch the drive or some other storage device that you have for the AE system. Once it goes there, the rest of the craft is controlled through here. The interface is set up on the chest to have the final product, which tells this inscriber what to do, and I'll get to this in a minute. But it's also got the redstone here so that it holds it in place for processing as needed. So what will happen is when it starts a craft, you set your variable up here. So I want redstone to be on hand. What it's doing right now is it's holding one in the interface, and as soon as I start a craft, and this gets its other pieces, it should push that redstone into the inscriber, and so far that seems to be how it's working. If I'm not right about that, again, please let me know. I'm not the smartest person in the world sometimes, so if I'm wrong, please let me know. I'm not going to freak out. So the craft is controlled through here, and what happens is it pulls the stuff it needs through the network and puts it in the chest, and the chest is set up so that it just holds items. And what happens is these retrieval nodes, which are a little bit expensive for unless you're around the mid game, these retrieval nodes are made with the QED table. And require like ender pearls and emeralds and a couple of regular transfer nodes. And so if you don't want to do it this way, you can set up another transfer node here and just put an item filter in it to push those items. Now the problem with that is that it sometimes will get confused as to which goes where, which is why I like using the retrieval nodes instead, because then there is no question and it will actually finish the craft. So these retrieval nodes are set up with an item filter. The top and the bottom are interchangeable, the side is not. And it has to be this side. The side needs to have redstone because that always needs to be in the middle. It won't work otherwise. But you can put your printed circuits in the top, or you can put your silicon in the top, and vice versa. As long as the silicon is on one side and the others are opposite, you'll be fine. And what it will do is that it will stamp that out, and it will go to the import bus, will pull just these items in, and you need to set that again because you don't want it to pull in the printed circuits or the redstone. So once that's done, it will go back into the system and everything is hunky-dory. So a couple of things about this. First things first, your chest here that feeds into the final inscriber needs to be blocked off from this. Now you can use, I think you can use like, what are they called? They are these cable anchors, which kind of makes it look. I kind of like having the microblocks plate in here, the forged microblocks, and it's cheap. You can use anything like stone or whatever. I just chose diamond because that's what I had in hand. The reason that you want this is so that these transfer nodes don't push into this. The transfer nodes will push into the nearest inventory that it can find. So you want to make sure to block that off, or you can put this elsewhere. You can put it like on top or behind or wherever you want to. As long as it doesn't touch these transfer nodes, that's the main key. So the other thing is this is pretty slow. The inscribers are slow to begin with, and I'll start a craft here in a minute so that you can see that. And you probably some of this stuff you know. If not, I apologize. There's some videos that I'll link to. Like I said, the aforementioned guys on Hermitcraft or Craft Council. Also, another person to check out would be Direwolf20. He does mod spotlights, and he has a 3-part series on Applied Energistics 2 that is very very detailed. But he doesn't cover the Inscriber autocrafting, and that's why I'm here, because it took me so long to figure out. And I'm serious, table flipping moments were to be had over this particular piece of autocraft. I was just about to lose my mind, and I'm glad that I figured it out and had the help that I did. Yeah, this will be slow to begin with because the inscribers are slow, but also if you are doing, like say you want to make a 64K crafting, 64K MU storage cell, and you want to set up an auto craft for that whole thing. It's a big craft. It's like 27 printed silicon, 27 printed logic circuits, and then 9 of these calculation circuits, and then 4 of these engineering circuits. So it takes a minute. You can auto craft it with this. I think I timed it. It took about 2 minutes to make a whole 64K storage cell. And the reason for that is because your bottleneck is here at the silicon press and the logic press. You got to make 27 of those, and if it's only doing one at a time, and it takes about 10 seconds per circuit, it adds up. So 10 seconds by 27, that's like a couple minutes. But once you get up to the top of the stack, it doesn't take nearly so long because there are so few that you need. I don't have, you can make multiples of these if you want to. This whole setup uses 7 channels. So you're going to be breaking out some dense cable and some smart cables, or however you want to do it. But you're definitely going to need a controller if you want to autocraft more than one of these. Yeah, I typically try to keep 150 of each of these in stock, just on general principle. I'm somewhere around end game, so I've got the resources. If you have like an Intercore or a Core Plus that's been going for a while, this is not a big deal. You can pre-stock if you want to. You just start to craft for like however many you want overnight before you go to bed, and then it'll be ready for you. I've got over here, I'm trying to condense this. This is actually spaced out a little bit so that it's easier to illustrate. You can tighten it down quite a bit. You can you put these chests next to each other and just make sure they're separated. Actually, regular chests, you won't be able to put one on top of the other because the bottom one won't open, and then you can't get stuff in and out. So like other chests, like iron chests or inner chests, so things that will open with stuff on top of them are probably better, but this is cheap. Wood doesn't take anything to get, so you can separate it out a little bit. But over here I've got something I'm trying to condense it, but it's not really working out for me. So I think that covers it. So just real quick, we'll go over this again. You make patterns in the pattern terminal, and you put those patterns in the interfaces. The interfaces go down the left side, power goes down the back, transfer nodes go down the left, and then feed into the chest, which gets imported back into the system, and then the interface pulls what it needs out, puts it in the chest, and then the inscriber retrieves what it needs, and then it spits out the finished product. So we'll show you how this works. So we'll make 10, like so, and it'll tell you if it's got everything it needs. If it doesn't, it will highlight something in red and say, hey, I need more of this, and you can gather resources or whatever. And then once you have everything, you hit start, and you can watch progress up there, or you can watch it here. You can see it'll stamp out the logic in the silicon circuits, and it will do this part, and it'll take a minute to feed back into the system, but then it'll come over here, and it will make circuits. Like I said, really slow. And then it sucks that out, and it makes another one. Now, if you're making different kinds of circuits, what will happen is it'll make one type before it moves on to the next one, because it can store up hair, but between the few seconds that it sits there and the amount of time it takes to populate this again, you're probably going to be constrained to one type of circuit at any given time. So yeah, that's how that works. If anybody has any comments or questions, or has any suggestions, or just want to say hi or whatever, drop me a message, and I do look at all the comments. Sometimes it takes me a little bit to get to them. I've got a busy work schedule, and I've got life, kids, family, and whatnot, and I try to keep it all together. But if I don't answer right away, then don't take it personal. I'm just I'm a busy guy, and I'll try to get back to you as quick as I can. In the meantime, I think that's going to do it for me. The sun's going down, sleepy time. No. Okay, enough of that silliness. I will catch you guys later, and you all have a good day.